Hi, I'm Julie Banderas, and this is Fox Extra. Beauty has come a long way from the first breast augmentation in 1895 to liposuction in 1982, and now full-face transplants. But what will the future have in store? I'm here now with Futurist Gray Scott and Dr. Douglas Senderoff and Dr. Ramtin Kassier, both New York City board-certified plastic surgeons. Thank you all for coming in and talking to us. Dr. Kassier, I want to start with you about the latest advances in the field of plastic surgery, because a lot of people want a little lift me up, if you will. A lot of people don't necessarily want to go under the knife and be put out under general anesthesia. And you do a specific practice, the one-stitch facelift. Tell us about that.
So, Julie, the one-stitch facelift is exactly what you said. People really don't want the full downtime and incisions. So for the neck, we have a K-lift, and for the upper face, we have a one-stitch lift, which limits the incisions, limits the amount of muscle that you reposition, and it's an in-and-out procedure in about an hour. And
there's also some laser technology that can be used as well. Again, non-invasive procedures.
There's a lot of things that we call energy-based devices that kind of heat your tissues from inside out, and they tighten. There's also a thing called Kybella now that you can inject into the chin, and the submental fat. This is the chin fat that we talk about. That's just an injection, and it gets rid of it in about 6 weeks.
That's incredible. And a lot of people also don't want to necessarily get liposuction. There's such thing as cool sculpting, something that melts the fat, and it's less invasive again.
That's right. If you don't want the downtime, the needles, you can just do cool sculpting. It freezes the fat, and at about 2 months, the fat is kind of metabolized by your body and it's taken away, but no downtime, no garments. People can get back to their work.
All right. And Dr. Senderoff, first of all, you have a bunch of props in front of you. We should mention that he does the most amount of butt implants in New York City, but it's not just the buttocks that we're talking about here. All different types of implants, not just for women, but for men. And I think it's important because a lot of men are trying to improve their appearances as well. Tell us about what you have here.
That's exactly right. Male plastic surgery has come out of the closet. It is not something that people are shy about. And for men, it's really gone beyond nips and tucks to more pecs and butts, and that's what we're seeing. A lot more people coming in for consultation in my New York City plastic surgery office.
Are you seeing men getting butts?
Yes, absolutely. The area of beauty that's really focused on right now is the torso, midsection, and buttocks is at the height of the list.
Show us one of your butts.
Okay, well,
I don't know why I'm so fascinated with butts, but
right
because
you
tend to do a lot of them.
Body implants, and these are made from a solid silicone elastomer. This is a breast implant, and this is made from a cohesive gel or gummy bear. The buttock implants and the pec implants are made from a solid silicone implant, and these implants are solid. They don't leak, they don't break down, and they don't have to be replaced for that reason. So this is a buttock implant. This is a round implant, and this would be more suitable for a male, which has a shorter butt. Women tend to have longer torsos, so they would have more of an oval shape. So this gets inserted sometimes in the muscle, within the gluteus maximus muscle, and that way it's more concealed, more durable.
You say it feels sort of like you're sitting on your wallet at first. I mean, you have a foreign object inside your butt.
It does take a little bit getting used to, and it's not for everyone. And some patients do report the feeling of feelings like they're sitting on something for a little bit, and then they get used to it.
Great. Obviously everybody goes to a plastic surgeon when you want to enhance your beauty, whether it be surgically, non-invasive, these implants, which have been around for years, liposuction, which has been around forever, breast augmentation, as we mentioned, even longer. What's the future of medicine hold, though? I mean, are there other practices that might be taking the place of doctors?
Well, I think we're going to see a future of beauty that's about robots. Right? So robots are going to take the place of some surgeons, unfortunately. And what you're seeing here...
I bet you these two would beg to differ that a robot could ever replace their special surgical hands. But what kind of robots?
So I think what's happening is that we're merging with our technologies. And this is what we're seeing here today, right? This is technology that we didn't have before. And that's only going to keep growing and moving us forward as a species. And so what we're seeing now is the beginning of not only a transhumanist sort of future for our species, but a future where beauty means longevity, right? So the future of beauty really is about preserving your body, preserving your health. And so that really, I think, is the future of beauty.
Growing old gracefully, I think, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, I have to say. And being in the television business, you're always constantly trying to make improvements. I mean, Dr. Kassier, where do you see the future of beauty, and where are we headed? I mean, I've even heard of the 40-year-old facelift, which I don't know if that's even an actual medical term, but I'm not going to lie, I'm around that age, and I'm definitely seeing, things aren't just holding up as the same as they did about 10 years ago. What options are there for people like myself who don't necessarily want to go under, a complete facelift?
And, the key words in our business right now, at least in my practice, Julie, are custom and ethnic. So we have patients from Afghanistan and Zimbabwe, and so you're Colombian and you have to maintain some of those features. And if you're 40 and you don't want a facelift and you work on the news, I have to gear something specific to you, whether surgical or non-surgical. And the non-surgical field, to make you look 5 to 7 years, has exploded. There's so many options that we have that can be done all well under an hour. No downtime, no really risk, and not that much investment either.
Yeah, which is great, because a lot of people do want to get back to work and they don't want to break the bank either. Dr. Senderoff, I have to mention your hair transplant technology, because that is something special that maybe a lot of men are noticing. They're receding hairlines and they are sort of on the fence about, do I do something about it? Do I just let nature take its course? It's not that scary anymore.
It isn't. In fact, there was just an article in the Post the other day about the rise in hair transplantation among men, and it's unbelievable how many celebrities are getting it done. It used to be a procedure with a lot of downtime, taking a big chunk of scalp from the back and pulling the hairs out. Now with the new NeoGraft technology, follicular unit extraction, we can take each individual hair one at a time, leaving no linear scars, and then placing those hairs one at a time in the scalp. And really a disruptive technology. It's just something that's changed the game for hair transplantation.
These grafts, though, are 1,000 hairs, sometimes
2,000
hairs, 3,000 hairs. I mean, Gray, how would a robot possibly? I mean, the technology in the video in which we can show people of Dr. Senderoff doing this is very precise. I mean, they have to pull out thousands of grafts and then surgically reimplant them in the area of hair loss. It's a tricky procedure.
There is a robot that is called the Artist system, and that uses basically a grid to go and pluck, as you will, each individual follicle out. Now, it doesn't do it the way the surgeon does it. It basically just drills little holes, and then the surgeon has to go in by manually and grab them. But we're getting there. The technology is evolving to the point where robotics are commonplace in, let's say, urologic surgery. So there is a mix between technology and humans. And in anesthesia right now, there is an anesthesia machine, if you can believe it or not, that will provide anesthesia to mostly healthy patients, and it takes the place of an anesthesiologist.
This is what I was saying about slowly, because of exponential change in computing and artificial intelligent robots. It sounds unbelievable, but the future is about robotic surgery. It is about taking control of our bodies, right? And so, when we talk about the idea of disruption in beauty, that's what's happening right now. We're disrupting the beauty industry. There are people coming forward, like the manufacturers of these implants, and saying, we can do something better. Right? So it's about morphological freedom, taking control of your body. So imagine in 50 years, you can wake up in the morning and say, I want to use nanobots to change my face today. That's the future that we're looking at. It sounds impossible, but look at this technology. This was impossible 100 years ago.
Yeah, Dr. Kassier, I mean, there is that patient-doctor relationship that is also very comforting, especially when you're going to be doing something that could potentially change your appearance. I mean, in your practice of many years, you've established great relationships with your patients, but are there any particular practices that you don't necessarily think patients would feel comfortable turning to a robot when they come to you?
That's interesting that technology is always advancing the field. However, we have a saying in surgery that says you can teach a monkey when to operate, which you can't teach a monkey when not to operate. So, I've used the robots, I've used the NeoGraft, and they're great machines, but I can still take out, for example, 500 grafts an hour. And you just can't do that with the NeoGraft or the robot. And they're getting there, though. And, like the NeoGraft and the machines, they have a suction on them that pulls the hairs in and bounces around in a receptacle. So while it does get automated, there's some lag time, and you have to have a human, a trained physician. I think Dr. Senderoff will agree with this, kind of lead and manage that, or else people will just bypass doctors today and say, hey, listen, I just want the robot. Can the guy in the spa do it for me?
Right, and let's not discount the role of the physician. These technologies are great, and they're making medicine better. But the physician is there to transform, to lead the transformation of the patient experience from where they are to where they want to be. And that is something that only really a human can accomplish.
Yeah, and I think more and more people are comfortable getting these procedures. Doesn't it seem more now than ever people are actually turning to plastic surgery?
They are, Julie. And I mean, let's say I've known you and I've known your family, but they're just the main thing about plastic surgery, really anything to alter your beauty and improve your beauty, is fear. What if I look like Michael Jackson? What if I look different? What if people don't recognize me? What if my family finds out? So you have to allay those fears, and again, that's a relationship. That's not a robot. That's not done in 5 minutes. It takes years sometimes.
I think it's interesting when I meet plastic surgeons, I can tell you guys haven't done anything to yourselves. So you're great doctors, and I know you
I know where to get it if I need it.
That's right.
Would you?
It's not for me. The focus is on the patient.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable.
I'll come see you for my pec implant, Doc.
Great. Would you rather go to a robot or one of these doctors if for some reason one day your hair falls out? Because right now you have an awesome hairline.
Oh, thank you. So I would say in the next 10 years, I would probably not feel comfortable with a robot because we're not there. But we all know that it's moving forward. To say that in 45 years that a robot won't be better than a human is irrational. I mean, computers are going to use lasers, facial recognition, structural recognition. We talked about that before we went on the air, that there's a pattern of beauty that's considered appropriate for the face, right? And computers will be able to suss that out and be able to use algorithms to monitor that. So I think probably not in the next 10 years, but talk to me in 25 years, and
Well, where you're sitting in your Google car being driven by a robot, and you'll come in for your robotic surgery.
All right. Well, Futurist Grace Scott, thank you very much. And Dr. Ramtin Kassier and Dr. Douglas Senderoff, we appreciate you all taking time to come in and talk to us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll be
Thanks
visiting
so much,
your
Julie.
offices at some point, I'm sure. Thank you so much again, and thanks for watching Fox Extra, everyone. I'm Julie Banderas.